Special News Bulletin for Hurricane Erin 2025. Erin poised for explosive intensification. Heading toward land. Good evening, and welcome to our special broadcast. We begin tonight with the story drawing the world's attention and dominating meteorological discussions, Hurricane Erin, which has now become a Category 5 super hurricane on the Saffir-Simpson scale, one of the highest classifications recorded so far this season. Remarkably, Erin is also the very first hurricane of the 2025 Atlantic season. Instead of a slow, gradual development, it has shocked both experts and residents in its path with a burst of rapid intensification. According to the U.S. National Hurricane Center, NHC, Erin's maximum sustained winds have already reached 160 miles per hour, around 257 kilometers per hour, making it one of the strongest hurricanes in the region in recent years. In less than 24 hours, the storm leapt from a tropical storm to a major hurricane and then to a Category 5 super hurricane, an extraordinary phenomenon known as rapid intensification. Fueled by warm sea surface temperatures, high atmospheric moisture, and low wind shear, at this hour, Erin's central pressure has dropped to 915 millibars, a reading that signals immense power. With pressure this low, the gradient between the eye and the outer circulation is extreme, driving hurricane-force winds directly into the storm's center. Residents across the region are already experiencing changes: dense cloud cover, torrential rainfall, and violent wind gusts. Another key development: Erin has entered what meteorologists call an eyewall replacement cycle. This process often occurs in intense super hurricanes, when the original inner eyewall weakens and is replaced by a new, larger outer eyewall. While the storm may briefly weaken during the transition, it typically regains strength, and often becomes even more powerful once the new eyewall consolidates. In other words, this is not a sign of permanent weakening but potentially a prelude to further intensification. Erin is currently moving west at about 15 miles per hour, edging closer to the Caribbean. Forecasts indicate a gradual turn to the west-northwest by the weekend, followed by a northward shift early next week. This trajectory puts Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, Turks and Caicos, and the Bahamas in the path of either direct or indirect impacts. Even if the eye of the storm does not pass directly overhead, dangerous rains, destructive winds, and life-threatening surf are likely. Already this morning in Puerto Rico, heavy rainfall and powerful winds have disrupted travel and offshore activity. Schools in northern districts have suspended classes, and local authorities are rushing to open emergency shelters while urging residents to stock up on food and water for at least 72 hours. In the Virgin Islands, tropical storm warnings have been issued. Power outages have already been reported as strong winds damage power lines, and crews are working around the clock to restore electricity to hospitals and essential facilities. Although Erin is not particularly large in diameter compared to some other super hurricanes, its surrounding atmospheric environment is unusually favorable. Meteorologists note that Erin's upper-level outflow is well ventilated, allowing the system to breathe efficiently and sustain powerful convection. This suggests that Erin could maintain Category 5 strength for at least the next 24 to 36 hours. According to the NHC's forecast cone, Erin is expected to hold Category 5 intensity through at least tomorrow. The cone extends northwest toward waters near the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos. But it is crucial to remember, the cone only shows the projected path of the storm's center, not the full range of impacts. In reality, Erin's hurricane-force winds extend hundreds of miles, meaning areas well outside the cone remain at serious risk. In the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos are under tropical storm warnings. From tonight, waves 13 to 20 feet, 4 to 6 meters, will begin pounding the eastern coastlines. Dangerous rip currents pose a severe threat to anyone attempting to swim or boat offshore. Residents are urged to avoid beaches entirely and secure homes ahead of worsening conditions. Meanwhile, Bermuda, though not currently in Erin's direct path, is monitoring closely. A slight eastward shift could bring hurricane conditions to the small island nation. where high population density and limited land area mean even a glancing blow could have devastating consequences. For the U.S. East Coast, forecast models present diverging scenarios. The European ECMWF model suggests Erin may pass close to North Carolina's Outer Banks before brushing Virginia's shoreline and veering back into the Atlantic. The American GFS model, however, projects a slightly more westerly path, potentially bringing Erin closer to the U.S. coastline before curving northeast. If that track plays out, Atlantic Canada, particularly Newfoundland, could face significant impacts. Ultimately, the key uncertainty is where and when Erin will pivot north. An earlier turn would spare the U.S. from a direct hit but place Bermuda and Canada in greater danger. A later turn would raise the risk for North Carolina, Virginia, and possibly even New England. Regardless of the exact track, dangerous surf and rip currents will extend along much of the U.S. East Coast in the coming days. In Puerto Rico, flash flooding has already inundated major roadways in the north. Emergency responders report stranded vehicles requiring rescue. In central mountainous areas, landslides have forced families to evacuate after red alerts were issued. Tens of thousands are without power due to downed lines and damaged substations. In the Virgin Islands, St. Thomas International Airport has been temporarily closed, and ports have suspended all operations. Ferries and fishing boats remain docked as shelters fill with families bringing bedding, medicine, and essentials. Aid agencies warn of imminent flash floods along major rivers, while U.S. military units stationed in the Caribbean stand on alert to assist with evacuations and relief operations. Across the Bahamas, particularly in Turks and Caicos, officials are ordering residents to stockpile supplies and reinforce buildings. Even without a direct landfall, Erin's enormous wind field could inflict major damage. In Bermuda, contingency plans are already in place, with schools closed and military units mobilized in case the storm shifts closer. Along the U.S. East Coast, states like North Carolina and South Carolina are issuing advisories banning swimming and offshore activity. For Atlantic Canada, concerns center on Newfoundland, where Erin could strike as a post-tropical system, unleashing widespread flooding. Adding to concerns, a new tropical wave has emerged in the eastern Atlantic. Forecasts suggest it could strengthen into a Category 1 hurricane by August 22, just days after Erin, underscoring how volatile the 2025 season has become. International news agencies including Reuters and AP emphasize the unprecedented nature of Erin's explosive growth, intensifying from a tropical storm to a Category 5 super hurricane in just 24 hours. This dramatic surge highlights the growing instability of global climate patterns. As we close tonight's bulletin, we leave you with one critical reminder: never underestimate hurricane warnings. Even without a direct landfall, indirect impacts such as storm surge, rip currents, and flooding can be devastating. Residents of the Caribbean, Bahamas, Bermuda, and the U.S. East Coast must remain vigilant, prepare thoroughly, and follow official guidance. Erin, described by experts as a healthy system, shows no signs of weakening soon. That only increases the risks. We will continue to bring you the latest updates in our upcoming broadcasts. Thank you for watching.